we can make him feel much better because he will not react to the dust, to the pollution, to the weather, to other things he is allergic to. But what do you do when the attack comes from an emotional source? We have the tools to create a powerful emotional clearing through the meridian systems. Here we take knowledge from Chinese medicine. We use this knowledge in every part of Bamya therapy, but especially in the emotional release. What we can do is find out with the patient a problem that he might have. For instance, anger at the patient's father. In many cases, it creates physical problems. And even if he doesn't, the patient may know, I am so angry at my father that he left my mother when I was 12, and I've been carrying this anger for the last 20 years. I'm way past that, but still, whenever I think of him, I get angry. Or whenever I think of him, I get asthma. And we would like to help this person release the anger and forgive his father so that the patient does not carry this anger in his liver for the rest of his life and get symptoms from being angry at his father. In this case, we would create a positive sentence with which the hand will be weak, and we will do a treatment that eventually make the hand be strong with this positive sentence. I ask the patient to say this sentence, I want to forgive my father, and the hand goes down. The brain says, no, I do not wish to forgive my father. I do not wish to let it go. It's part of me. Since the patient understands that he's paying for holding this anger dearly in his health, I will ask him to write a note, I want to forgive my father. Hold it in one hand, the other hand is weak. Then I will ask the body, what should I do? How can I release all this anger? How can I make your brain says, yes, I want to forgive my father? Okay, the body will tell me which techniques to use in order to release the anger and create forgiveness. I will use energetic tools. This may be the moment to show you some of the tools that we use. The first tool is called a mini massager. It's a vibrator that we use to stimulate acupuncture points instead of needles. This gives a very strong vibration, and we can put it on this or another acupuncture point according to the answers I will get from the body to release anger or to release whatever needs to be released. Now, on each of the meridian, there's a key point that when we use that point, we can release the emotion that goes with that meridian. Each of the meridians have their own emotions. Anger sits in the liver. Fear is in the kidney. Anxiety and worry is in the stomach. Loss and grief and sorrow are in the lungs. And the rest of the meridians, the rest of the internal organs have their own emotions, and you can learn it later. In the treatment, I would let the body guide me from one meridian to another to release the emotions stuck in that meridian that will not allow the sentence to be correct. For instance, the patient holds a sentence, I want to forgive my father, and the body says, go to the lung meridian, for instance. The lung meridian begins here and ends here on both hands. I will use massagers on the lateral or the end point of the meridian to release the sorrow and the grief from the lungs relating to the sentence that the patient is holding in his hand. And now the body says, release the sorrow and the grief that prevents the patient from forgiving his father. I will do the energetic work on the end point of the lung meridian, pulling out the sorrow and the grief energetically, while talking to the patient about this issue, about grief and sorrow. So after 2 or 3 or 4 minutes of working on his lung meridian, I will stop. I will ask the body, can I go on to the next meridian? The unconscious mind may lead me to another meridian and another one and another one. We have 12 meridians. Sometimes the treatment is short, only 3 or 4 meridians. Sometimes we have to go through all the 12 meridians because this is a very rooted problem that the patient has been holding for all his life, and it takes a lot of work to release it. But at the end of this treatment, the hand will be strong with a sentence, I want to forgive my father. Body says yes. After we worked on I want to forgive my father, we still may have to work on I forgive my father. Because wanting may not be the whole way, maybe just part of the way. But once the hand is strong with a sentence, I know it's finished. The patient goes home and he's different. A few tons of anger are off his liver, and he feels lighter and he's happier, and he can talk to his father. He does not have symptoms that he had before, because many of the symptoms that he had were related to the anger at his father. And of course, every emotional issue can be addressed in this way. We find a problem, we define a positive sentence, the opposite of the problem, that fixes the problem. The hand goes down, we do the treatment, we clear what we have to clear, the hand is strong, next patient. But how can you clear problems which are not in the conscious mind? What if the patient's favorite toy was taken away from him when he was 1 year old? He doesn't remember. He cannot tell me that's where my problem started. His parents know nothing about it. They may not be there. No one can tell me that the problem started when the patient was 1 year old. How do I write a sentence to fix an emotional problem that is not known? Nobody knows about it. I can ask many questions and still not come up with the answer. For this and for other purposes, we have a very powerful chart that has a lot of words which are divided